Hello all, welcome to the Literacy Spire Cartoon Fan Podcast. This is episode 290, and today we'll be talking about the future of Cartoon Network after the end of Steven Universe. I'm GC13.
And I'm David.
So, we saw some very impressive ratings from Steven Universe Future. I don't think it would be very controversial at this point to say, after Future and the movie, that Steven Universe is a top ratings draw for the network.
It seems that Cartoon Network, at one point, I don't know, Steven Universe was a well-prioritized show, I think, throughout its life. I'm not sure what led to some of its long hiatuses, because for the moments that the episodes did air, they were usually really well promoted, and of course, Steven bombs were such a big thing across its life, and even the Summer of Steven was such a huge event in, 2017, 2018? There was always a lot of love from Cartoon Network, and I think the story, completed twice, so it's gotten all the love it could possibly get. What did the movie get? A million viewers? Over a million?
We'll just consult the handy-dandy ratings spreadsheet here. That was September, right?
So infinitely long ago.
1,572,000 people, and that's in the modern day of Steven Universe. The next best average premieres on that month was 473,000 for OKKO.
OKKO was premiering then, I forgot.
That was the series finale too, so...
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so Cartoon Network's trends, for those who haven't followed them, their numbers have trended in basically the 500,000 mark or less for their absolute biggest shows.
Yeah, if you top 500,000 on modern Cartoon Network, you're doing huge. All of your ones that are doing well are going to be in the 400,000s. And the fact that Steven Universe Future's last 10 episodes were able to average over 600,000 tells you what a draw Steven Universe is for the network. People tune in, and they tune in live. That's worth money to advertisers.
Well, and the interesting thing is that Cartoon Network has been working, though, on this digital transition for quite some time for streaming. And Steven Universe really was the show that, I think, through those Steven bombs, prepared them for event television. And especially now, we're going to look at some of the shows following Steven Universe's wake. But with Steven Universe Future, even, I think their idea of miniseries continues to be pushed. And similarly with Infinity Train, which we'll expect another book maybe this year or next, that's going to be sort of the way that they draw people online, is by being able to dump those chunks. And even Summer Camp Island has sort of been event television, in that it comes every summer and gives you a sort of literal summer camp vibe every time it comes around. And I wonder, with HBO Max releasing, maybe in just a month, and probably with the whole US quarantine situation, it will be really big, that's going to push their service forward a lot more than it might have even releasing in May. And I'm interested to see what that means for, they're not going to release numbers for it, but just how well shows like Adventure Time returning are received, and also if they're going to end up dumping these other shows on that service.
Yeah, I think HBO Max is going to change the network's relationship big time. But yeah, the three shows I'm watching for kind of Cartoon Network's up-and-coming guys are Summer Camp Island, Infinity Train, which is another pretty big draw, and Mao Mao, Heroes of Pure Heart, which I think has all the makings of a flagship.
I really like Mao Mao's relationship too with, I don't know, I follow the creator on Twitter, and when he posts about Cartoon Network Japan, I really enjoy seeing that. It reminds me of either some American video game studio that also gets excited. I don't know. It's reminding me of, what was his name? Tekfuru Hurry? The guest animator on Steven Universe, who's also shown a lot of love.
The Studio Trigger guy?
Yeah. I love relationships between, Japanese animation and American studios. So, yeah, Mao Mao kind of has that going for it. And additionally, it's just really cute and funny. Not as lore heavy as Steven Universe, but it's probably the most different, though, from the other two, Infinity Train and Summer Camp Island, in that it has not been event-based or released in large chunks. I wonder what those types of shows look like. I think you can look at, for a cue for how more traditional kids animation works, I think looking at the Cartoon Network app and what they've done with that for the past few years is sort of, I think, their online strategy, right? That episodes just kind of sporadically appear and they hope that kids just like reruns and it's not as heavily focused on pushing one new one out a week for some set period of time. Have you seen the same trend with their app?
I don't watch the app too closely. For me, it's very difficult to get on there because I use Sling, and while episodes that are app exclusive will go up on Sling's VOD section, they do not allow Sling customers access to the app for some reason. I'm certain Sling isn't paying them enough for the privilege, but that's always made me wonder how much money they actually make with the app, or I should say how many viewers they actually have on the app, because you only get access to it if you already have a cable provider, and they probably have a VOD section for you.
Yeah, traditional cable subscribers are dwindling too, so, kids with parents who have traditional cable subscriptions, that is still a large market, but they are... I would be surprised if there isn't a Cartoon Network on-demand streaming service announced soon. I mean, heck, DC has one. Anybody can have a streaming service, and it's either that or consolidating with HBO Max, but I think they're going to want a sort of kid-friendly focused one, unless they want to push for the value argument of saying, hey, parents, with your HBO Max subscription, you get a kids-only view, kind of like Netflix.
I mean, probably what they'll do is they'll try to go the bundling route and force you to buy the whole HBO Max subscription, even if you only want a part of it. That's a very common business strategy. It's how cable packages work.
Well, but for $15, I mean, you're going to get a ton of stuff in HBO Max.
Yeah, but I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not going to subscribe year round to HBO Max for $15. Now, if they had Cartoon Network All Access for $8 a month, I'd be subscribed all year, rather than maybe 1 month if you're lucky. So, how much of my money do you want?
But, Barry's on, there's a few shows on HBO.
Yeah, I could watch the final 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. That'll be great.
No, not worth checking out. Also, just came out, I haven't seen it yet, Thundercats Roar. Lots of people are mad because they love the original property. I have seen pictures of it and just thought, oh wow, that's way more endearing than what Teen Titans Go did for its, goofy adaptation. And, as far as egregious things go, Teen Titans Go took something that took itself so much more seriously and was so much more beloved. I feel like with Thundercats, it was always... sort of like with She-Ra.
It's always a campy show.
Campy, older show. And I think this kind of adaptation, it looks so much more lovingly produced than Teen Titans Go, which just reminds me of Illumination Animation Studios, Minion type cheaply produced. I mean, I'm sure the writers have fun on it, but still, it's just, it has a reason to be hated. And I feel like I need to check out Thundercats Roar because it's these are the shows that exist right now. There's not I feel like I don't know which thing is their next biggest flagship though. You said Mao Mao, which I'm interested by. I kind of feel like they were attempting to see how Infinity Train would be received, and it's been medium high.
Yeah, the first book of Infinity Train was huge. The second still did well. I'm looking for my Mao Mao ratings right now. Yeah, the second season of Infinity Train averaged in the 400,000s. So, let's see here. Total Dramarama beat it, and Ninjago beat it, and Apple and Onion barely beat it, but it crushed Power Players, it beat Ben 10, so it's doing okay.
But Apple and Onion beat it? I don't know. I haven't seen an episode of Apple and Onion.
Apple and Onion had a really strong month back. It's not been doing so great since then. But yeah, Mao Mao's right in there too.
I think Mao Mao is definitely more appealing to a kid's audience than Infinity Train, because Infinity Train doesn't stay focused on a single character. And that just makes it harder, I think, for kids to consume. I think I had seen a either tweet or short interview with the Infinity Train creator about that sort of risk with the show when he had to pitch it to Cartoon Network, because that's like a big thing for a network to say, yeah, we'll let you produce 10 episode seasons that are not entirely related. Like normally you need a strong lead character that keeps kids interested. Now, I guess Infinity Train sort of cheated because they look the same. The main characters sort of look the same.
Not at
seasons.
all.
They have the same shape.
But you mentioned before about how Mao Mao was different in that it was the more episodic of the three that I named. And I'm kind of hoping that any transition to HBO Max that the network undergoes, I'm hoping that they keep the episodic style shows. Because, like, I like She-Ra. She-Ra's fun and everything, but I kind of miss the old, disconnected, episodic kind of stuff, like you would get in season 1 of Steven Universe, or during the summer of Steven. Even everyone's like, all story arcs all the time, and like, come on, give me some of those episodes.
There's a way to do it though. Like I've just been slowly, continually watching. It's a big show. Hey Arnold. I think I'm in season 2 right now, and like that kind of show where the connectivity, I mean, and again, it has so many parallels to the more modern show Craig of the Creek, which we also haven't mentioned yet as far as Cartoon Network properties, but that kind of show where you continue to build this repertoire of characters and they actually have these developing features over time that aren't connected by big story arcs, but just by their slice of life experiences. And then also they continue to have depth because, you know, either little backstories happen or moments happen, or in the case of Hey Arnold, like the character Helga is just so interestingly developed over the course of that show with her, you know, not quite traumas, not quite like Steven level traumas, but, you know, her own rough household life and her just strong difference from everyone around her. There's just something really pleasing about watching a show like that. And I think Mao Mao achieves a similar effect where it focuses a lot on us developing an understanding of these characters, and you have, you know, Mao Mao's ongoing daddy issues and stuff, but it's not supposed to be some big epic what's lurking in the background quest. And it doesn't follow the more traditional models of shows like Avatar or She-Ra. Although I really, really, really love that type of television too.
I'm glad you brought up Crick at the Creek, though. It kind of slipped my mind because they haven't really aired a whole lot. It is getting new episodes this month, so we'll see how it's doing now. It was doing very well before. So again, that's another one that's a flagship contender as long as Cartoon Network continues to believe in it.
Yeah, and they should. We don't know exactly how well these shows are doing outside of the really traditional Nelson ratings that we get. And I don't know, Netflix set the precedent before all these other streaming services came in of just not announcing their ratings. And, that's obviously been advantageous for them. And I don't know why. It kind of makes me wonder why the public ever got those numbers in the first place. Like, I don't know what benefit that ever brought to the companies, because obviously the secrecy helps mask, like, that every company would rather mask their failures than show successes, right? Like, even companies like Apple have stopped sharing their unit sales for hardware and stuff. But it is weird because then, you have to be like a social scientist and say, is my show that I love going to be alive? Let me, look at the Google Trends charts. Let me look at, Twitter volume. Does the hashtag trend during the episode airings?
Based on the ratings, I don't think Thundercats Roar is it. Craig of the Creek, yes. Mao Mao, yes. Infinity Train, yes. And I'm all in on Summer Camp Island. I hope Cartoon Network is too.
Is the Powerpuff Girls still airing new episodes? I'm looking at the list of original programming for Cartoon Network, and I'm like, that's not still a thing, right?
I don't think so. It was like, it's one of their go-ified series, and those don't tend to do well, except for Teen Titans Go.
Teen Titans freaking Go. And is that really their like Nickelodeon type SpongeBob flagship, where we don't want to call it a flagship, but it's basically, the majority of their programming?
It's like 38% of the network, so...
Oh my gosh. It's the same thing as freaking SpongeBob. I mean, that show has been Nickelodeon for such a long time now, it's embarrassing. Yeah, I wonder how much longer Teen Titans Go has in the that show's really been like a YouTube-y type show in the way that they release so many clips for it. So I feel like its digital transition has already happened. It just creates brand cachet for Cartoon Network.
I mean, Teen Titans Go is like a SpongeBob. You can just keep it going forever, and you can hand it off to whoever. It'll just keep going. I don't think we're going to see the end of Teen Titans Go anytime soon.
Who would win, Teen Titans Go or the Heat Death of the Universe and the Gems?
Well, I don't think the Titans are going to hold hands with each other, so I'm going to have to give that one to the Gems. I do wonder if the Summer Camp Island, if they're going to try to make that a Max exclusive, or if they're going to air it on... I hope they air it on Cartoon Network normally, of course. The more places we can see our stuff, the better, right?
Absolutely. I do also wonder, Nickelodeon had already experimented with bringing back some of their older than a decade franchises on Netflix, and there's still plans for that. There's plans for Rugrats. There's possibly plans for other series. We have heard nothing like that from Cartoon Network other than, obviously, Adventure Time, which is really huge, but I do wonder if they bring, like we said, their own Cartoon Network on-demand service, or if that gets integrated into HBO Max, if that creates interest in finishing off some of their, forgotten shows. Like, well, not forgotten, but like, is it Symbiotic Titan that never got... Symbionic Titan that never got finished off? I've never seen that series. Some series when I know that they don't have an ending.
I mean, they have it's like we discussed in the She-Ra seasons 2 and 3 video that will be up at some point. They end it on a right off into the sunset moment, even though there's a lot that hasn't been resolved. So it at least feels kind of satisfying.
Versus like the Teen Titans ending, where you're like, I have so many questions still.
Now, there was that one survey Cartoon Network was passing around asking you about what older properties you knew about. And, I can't help but notice that Codename Kids Next Door was on that list.
That is such a big thing. That news that had been, or those rumors that have been circulating for so long. I mean, an entire concept was developed for Kids Next Door in space.
That was a huge event, the reveal of the Galactic Kids Next Door, and then we were all so sad when Cartoon Network didn't pick it up. Now, would HBO Max be interested? I don't know, but I really hope they are. I should also say that while a third book of Infinity Train has not been officially announced, come on, it's Infinity Train, right?
Oh, I mean, that series is definitely not over. And if it had been, it would have been more of a, little online event, I mean, the creator would have said, hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah, why would Owen Dennis be running around asking about, hey, if you have people interested in licensing this for merch, let Cartoon Network know. You usually wouldn't do that unless you had stuff in the pipeline, because it takes a long time to license and manufacture merchandise.
Yeah.
And who's going to want to manufacture and sell merchandise for a dead show? It doesn't make any sense.
Is Summer Camp Island even officially announced for this year?
I don't know why Cartoon Network insists on keeping us in the dark, but that's another one where, they would be crazy not to have a third season. No, it will be, they will have a second season, because the first 40 episodes are all a single season, so yes, there will be more.
Oh, right. Yeah, and we've seen a teaser for it. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I remember the what are they called? The blankets.
Wait, what? I have not gotten to the second half of season 1. What's happening to the blankets that are alive?
No, nothing happens to the blankets. There's just a scene where a character is forcing his subjects to buy something that Oscar and Hedgehog are selling. So yes, I did see the teaser for the actual second season.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just, that was the part that intrigued me the most. How is this going to go completely wrong? As it always does in cartoons. So they have my interest. So, we do know that Summer Camp Island is coming back. We have very strong feelings that Infinity Train is coming back. And Mao Mao and Craig of the Creek both have more episodes.
And Steven Universe is never coming back. My heart.
I mean, the ground is cleared for a Beach City Adventures series. That doesn't need a heavy hitter like Rebecca Sugar at the helm. She can nominate someone she trusts to shepherd that series and she runs off and does whatever she needs to do. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and there's always a future for Sugar doing other things on Cartoon Network. So I hope that the experience at Cartoon Network was good enough that they keep her around, and maybe they'll produce some more kid shows.
So yeah, the big dog, the ratings receiver, is gone from Cartoon Network, for now at least, crossing our fingers. But there are several good shows that, can pick up some of the slack in the near term. And of course, Cartoon Network can always develop more properties in the future. So, future's looking okay. Until next week, though, I'm GC13.
And I'm David. Don't forget to, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else that you can.
Later, everybody. Our opening and closing music is by Mark Soto. For more cartoon-related content, please visit lunarceasefire.com.